Welcome back to Just One Question, and I'm really honored and pleased to have one of my favorite people, one of the most amazing people in my world of presenting and storytelling on the show with me, Nancy Duarte. Nancy is head of Duarte, CEO of Duarte, and she's the author of several giant books, really extraordinary books on presentation and storytelling and design in this space. So if you are a speaker or you want to be a speaker, you need to have Nancy's books in your library and you need to study them. They should be dog-eared and have yellow stickies all over them. And whenever you get ready to do a presentation, you got to get with the Duarte books on these things. So without further ado, Nancy, thanks so much for being on the show. And how are you doing?
Well, you're one of my favorite people too, Nick. So we'll just make that super clear. I have resolve, like being a CEO in a pandemic hasn't been easy by any means. We have a new company symbol. It's brave, which is like everyone has showed up brave. I haven't been able to be creative, which is interesting. I've just mostly you can't sit and reflect while you're on a ship that's in a really crazy storm. So I feel like I'm almost in smooth waters. Everything's smoothed out for me as a leader. So I'm doing well. Lots of jacuzzi time. So
Well, there's that. Yeah.
If I didn't have the grandkids around, that would have been a lot harder season for me. So
yeah, they bring a lot of joy. Grandkids are all good, aren't they? Because it's all the fun of parenthood without any of the problems. So it's wonderful. Yeah. So thanks for that. And we will get to just one question right away. And that question is, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now. We have hopes that maybe sometime this year, third quarter, fourth quarter, we can get back to the work that you and I love so much, which is preparing people for brilliant presentations and participating in that world of conferences and presentations and great speakers. And when we go back, because of this long ordeal, we suspect we'll be changed. We won't be the same. And my question to you is, once we do go back, how will we be changed? How should we be prepared to be different and to find difference around us?
Yeah, I think there's how I've changed, how my company's changed, and how I think the world is going to change. For me personally, I do think it was one of my finest hours as an internal communicator. I didn't do everything perfect, but so much of how I modified my communication really is going to go into the future. And people said it really gave them the fuel to keep them brave, and to keep going. And so that's going to keep happening. At the company level, I think every company needs to be agile and nimble, because this isn't going to be the last time we're struck by things, right? So I think that the companies that didn't have cash, that were over leveraged, because husband and I, we planned for this since 2008. We actually thought some sort of economic hit would come sooner, because this was our fifth cycle through an economic hit, not caused by ourselves. It was our fifth time. So we were expecting something. We didn't know it'd be this crazy. So I think the other thing is people got to realize that these hits happen and you got to prepare. You need to be agile. You need to be nimble. Our company was already half remote. So flipping to remote was fast. I think remote's here. Blended learning is here. All of our workshops are going to be virtual for a long time. I think they're going to actually outsell what used to be like an in-person workshop. It's going to happen. And we used to do a lot of meetings where half my team was remote, half was in person. And we've tagged all the types of meetings where everyone needs to be remote, because now we're starting to realize how much the remote people didn't have a voice, and we just were like agitated by the remote people, right? All the local people. And so I think there's a lot more there's just a lot more tolerance for people to show up human. And one of the best things I did was gave everyone permission to show up broken, everyone permission to show up weak with no consequence. And so I think the frailties of humankind are I think we're going to see them more readily in the future and notice it in people. My hope is that the world, becomes a kinder, more empathetic place and slower. Like, I think we were talking about it, like we both powered down a bit, and I don't miss that. I don't miss the speed in which I used to have to work or fly or go. Um, Everyone I know, all my CEO friends, really hard look at the inventory of how they parsed their time. And I think people are going to treat time as much as we maybe treat money, right? And make bets and budgets with our time. Um, Isolation's had a real toll on people, and it's changed a lot of people too. And I was telling you, my mom's in an assisted living facility in Florida, and they're finding that the older people that were kind of forced into isolation now are just not coming out, that everything about their health is failing, and they're not leaving their room because they can't reprogram. There's no urgency to leave. There's nothing drawing them back out. And so I don't know that we will know for a long time what the toll has been on mental health, physical health. And I hope they study this forever and for a long time and figure out the right and best way to do it. Because the sad news is we're very close to engineered diseases, right? Viruses and the whole advancements in biological warfare is real. So I don't want to end on I'll try to think of something happy to say at the end, but this maybe was just a dry run. So it scares me a bit. Like if we behave this way once and then we do this again, and then the real one hits, I just don't want it to be the crying wolf, right? Then when the real thing hits us all, we'll just be like, yeah, you know. So yeah, I'm a bit of not a prepper, but like I do have food stored all over my house, and I just
Excellent.
make sure I can feed my neighbors. Like I want to make sure I'm the one who is the giver and not a taker in a time of need. I think there's going to be more people that prepare for their future instead of pretend they're immortal, because none of us are. So that's my ramble.
No, that's beautiful, Nancy. I expected exactly that, and I'm not disappointed. So thank you so much. Um, I'm really struck by the resiliency in what you're saying, though, and you found your resiliency in being human, and rather than trying to be some false version of oneself where everything is always fine and we keep going at the same rate. So that's just wonderful. I think we will survive if we find our humanity. So well done for helping your company do that and doing so well.
Storytelling played a big part. Like first Monday after shelter in place, my husband and I told 5 stories from the 5 crisis of resilience. So I love that you said that. And that's how we just zoomed out of it. And it was really powerful. It was a real powerful season for me. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad to see you and to hear your story. And thank you for being on Just One Question. Nancy Duarte, how amazing is that? Thank you.